Please don't keep us a secret. Tell everyone about Vosita Telemedicine. Social distancing friendly and virtually free. Vosita Telemedicine. Give Vosetta a try.
All right, let's get started. So today we're going to go over the telemedicine, any coding updates, getting a feedback from all of you who got paid, who hasn't got paid. We're going to talk about the telemedicine workflow, any of the new Rosetta new features. My name is Robert Gabriel. I'm the President and CEO of MikeWise Technology and also the President and CEO of Rosetta Telemedicine. I have two people going to be helping me today. Nisma Abdulaziz, she's the RCM team leader, as well as Amir Gadalla. He is the RCM General Manager. Just a quick disclaimer, MikeWise or Rosetta cannot be held responsible for any information you'll be learning today. You are responsible to verify the accuracy of the material being presented. MikeWise or Rosetta cannot be held liable for any patient health, loss of revenue, and or the cost that might inquire related to loss of data or revenue. We're going to talk about the telemedicine workflow and playbook. We're going to talk about some of the new features we have for Rosetta. We're going to discuss the virtual walk-in and how to invite patients. We're going to talk about the coding and billing for telemedicine. This is just my vision. Telemedicine is here to stay. Right now, telemedicine, because of the emergency we are in, a lot of the regulation has been relaxed. But after everybody, lawmakers, and everybody sees that telemedicine can be successful, if you don't adopt it, then retail are going to adopt. So if you don't offer telemedicine, you're going to find out that there is retail like CVS and Walgreens. If they're not already doing that, you will see that coming very soon near your home or your office. What I'm trying to say is we need to make this work. It's here to stay. It's not just during emergency time. I think this is going to stay for the long term. Now, this is where I see maybe a future exam room that you might have. Maybe you want to have two locations where one location you don't want to be really there. It's a rural area and you want to have an exam room there and be able to have an MA to help you and have a patient walk in there and you can treat them as a telemedicine. This is my vision for the future. What is it going to look like? And I think this is better than going into a retail store and finding telemedicines offered in a retail store, taking you more out of business and taking more out of your income. So now today we're going to talk about the playbook of how the workflow, and I want to hear from you. I want to make this as interactive as possible. I want to hear from you what is working, what's not working. So I'm going to show you what I think should be working, but it's going to work for some people, but I want to hear from you what is working and what's not working. And please share with us. Either way, we all here to brainstorm together and help each other what is the best way to do telemedicine. So before we get into the telemedicine, just in case if you're new to the group, we've been meeting every Friday. We've been talking about telemedicine. We've been talking about coding and how to bill. But if you're new to the group, my name is Robert Gabriel. I created a company called Vosita Telemedicine, and I donated this. I've been working on it for multiple years. I kind of rushed it to the market now because of the epidemic, and I'm donating the technology for all of you to use it at no charge. So there will be free. There will be multiple level of Rosetta. There will be always a free membership and there will be paid membership. But right now, everything is free until March 1st, 2021. So if you're new to the group, let's talk about Rosetta. So Rosetta is, I designed Rosetta to be able to help you have patients book their own appointment or to be able to have patients find you. If you're trying to attract new patients, so maybe patient will come here, they can pick a specialty, they might be picking a zip code, they might be picking what insurance that they're looking for. So I'm just picking up anything at random here. They might be able to pick between virtual, which is what most people are doing now, Or in the future, hopefully when we go back to normal, having patient coming to your office, they will be looking at a normal office visit. So for now, we're going to talk about virtual. So we're going to hit search. So this is what the patient is going to see. And if the doctor is offering appointments, they will be listed there. The patient can switch that and just go and search for a normal office visit. So none of those doctors are offering. So I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to pick a specialty. I'm not going to pick a zip code. I'm not going to pick an insurance. I'm just going to hit search just to show you kind of, how the list works. This will be here, all the people. So everybody's offering virtual visit or telemedicine visit. They will be showing here with their availability. If the availability was empty, that means that somebody just might use the last appointment. So all of those are active providers that are doing telemedicine using Vosita as we're speaking today. Patient can narrow this down by any of the categories that they're looking for. So let me just take a provider at random. So let me take Dr. Royale. So when I click on his hyperlink here, I will get to see more information about him. Patient will also get to review the doctor. It will show where they're located on the map. And you can brag about anything that you want your patient to know about, your words, your board certification, anything. So you can link, you can have your website, you can have your phone number. This is going to give you a boost even to SEOs and how to have patient find you. Unless you're not looking to have a new patient, then maybe this is not for you. But most people that I know, they're looking for new patients. And this is a way to get you a new patient. So right now it's available on the desktop, just like I'm showing you now. It's available on the mobile app, iPhone, iPad, and Android. So the iPhone and iPad right now is for the patients. So patient will be able to download that app and book or find a provider. Under normal circumstances, I'm not going to book a real doctor. I'm going to pick myself, which is I'm a demo doctor. I'm not going to call fake doctor. So now the patient will be clicking on the appointment they want, then they will be picking if they're already existing, the system is going to know what insurance they have, and you can pick the reason why they're making that appointment. They can type notes here. That information is going to book and to remove that time slot from the availability, and now the practice is going to get informed this appointment was created. And I'm going to show you today different methods or how you're supposed to log or how you're supposed to mark that visit on your own software. Now, this is not a session only for one type of software. Everybody on the phone might be coming from a different software. So I'm going to choose one of the software as an example, but again, depending on what software you're using, the workflow might look a little bit different. So what right now is I'm logged in actually as the demo doctor. I'm going to show you what the doctor is going to be seeing. I'm going to go to my appointment list. So when somebody books an appointment, this is what the practice is going to be seeing. I want you to think about this as a virtual waiting room. Some of it is a future appointment. Some of it is appointment that's happening now. If this appointment is, let's pretend it's happening right now, all you have to do, if the patient is ready for you, you will click start. This is going to confirm how you're going to look on the camera. And we're going to talk about the best practices of the camera. I'm going to remove this here on the next release because it's causing some confusion for people, especially on the patient. Some patient, they're not, this is supposed to show you the speed and how you look on the camera, and it's making some people a little confused. So I'm going to remove this. So by default, you're not going to see this on the next week on a new release. At this point, when the patient connects, you will see this call button turns darker blue, and you will start seeing the patient on the screen. For now, I'm going to show you a new features that we added, which is we added what's called a virtual walk-in. Now, before I get into that, I'm going to show you some of the features that we added if you have not attended last meeting. So over here is you have a link for the patient demographic. This will be a little bit information about the patient. And over here, if you click on it, this will give you a little bit information, the card, the insurance card that the patient might have took a picture of from their iPhone or Android. And you can right click and copy that card, or can download that card into your download. Then you, depending on which operating system you using, it will look different. Then over here you have the insurance card, and you can print it if that's what you're trying to do. So that's easy stuff. We got a big request about saying, well, patients are confused about booking their own appointment. I have a patient on the phone. I want to send them a link. I don't want to give them my cell phone number. And that link is going to, I want to invite them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually log in on my phone to the meeting. So you're going to click on virtual walk-in. Then you're going to hit invite. The call is if the patient is ready for you and they have an appointment. The invite for patient that didn't make an appointment and they're just waiting for you to connect to them. So you're going to send them a text on their phone, then you're going to hit invite. The patient is going to get that link, and you're going to see me twice here because I'm going to connect, and it's going to get loud because you're going to hear echoes. Now you see that call turned blue. The patient is going to need to hit accept, and the patient is, now you see me twice, one from my iPhone, one from as the doctor. So I'm going to hang up here. Okay, so that's how simple it is to invite a patient to make an appointment. Hopefully, most of you already tried that. This release was released beginning of the week. Now, what we also did, so we have the start, we always had the cancel. We have something called done. Done means when this patient is done from the appointment, you can just hit done, and that appointment will disappear. Because what happened, the complaint that we were getting, that this appointment, I didn't get to it on time. It was scheduled, but I didn't get to it on time. And it was going to pass the appointment without the doctor actually get to see that patient. So we kept everything for you here. We're adding new features next week where you can pick multiple appointments and you can archive them or mark them done to make it easier for you to organize your virtual room. And we're also adding new features I will talk about next Friday, and how to filter for a range of days or a history to see the logs. So for now, let's go back to workflow. So workflow is how do you make patient aware of your Vosita or your telemedicine solutions? So I'm going to show you what some of the doctors are doing. Then I'm talk hypothetically about some of the challenge that I would think that some of you are facing today. On the website, so today I'm going to demo Woodbridge Medical Group. They have a link here to say that you can book me online. So when they click on it, it's taking them to, this is Dr. Boyd, it's taking them to the profile of Dr. Boyd on Vosita. Then it's showing the availability for Dr. Boyd. So I can book Dr. Boyd today at 2:30. I can book Dr. Boyd for today at 2:45, or Monday doesn't have any, and I can scroll and see the schedule for next week. So patient will be clicking on that and making an appointment. I'm posting here your phone number, posting the website, so not making it easy for the patient to get hold of you if needed, and the profile about you as a provider with the reviews that you. So that's how you link it to your own website. Let me just show you another provider, Dr. Goldberg, and she has connection here to book a telemedicine appointment. So when you click on it, okay, it will get into her profile. Now Dr. Goldberg doesn't have anything available. She's in a very busy area in Queens, and she's always solid booked. Let's talk about the other aspect of, it's easy if I'm talking to an existing patient because I already have everything I know about that patient. But what happens if I have a new patient? Now, the way we understand it, that telemedicine is not only limited to existing patients that you can only do follow-up. We think that it's open for new patient and existing patient. Some of the challenges will be, how do I get the forms? Am I going to deal with faxing? Am I going to deal how I'm going to put my forms on a PDF on my website and have the patient download them and fill them, then fax them to me? It's really inconvenient. This is what I think. I'm going to give you the most professional or best scenario. If an electronic medical record, I'm going to show you an example of how that will look. And the other thing is, if you don't have, what is the temporary solution around it? You can have a link to my health record website, which is depending on what EMR you're using, it will be connected to your EMR. So let me just log in as a demo patient here. So I'm going to log in as John Doe. And when I'm logging in as John Doe, I happen to be listed, or John Doe happened to be listed on two different practices that using the same platform. So if that actually happens, the patient will be able to pick which practice they want to log into. So they get to see their medical record here. They get to see their summary. They get to see their history of visits. They get to see, my medication they're doing. So again, I'm showing Dr. Boyd again. I'm going to go to my forms, and let's say I'm a new patient. So if this was a new patient, you need to create their email and their name and send them an invite to invite them to that portal to activate the portal. Then at that time, after you create the basic information about that patient, so when you click on new, so as a patient, they will be able to fill all their forms and to just pick all the things that they have, and all of that. So that's the proper way, is all of that is going to get into your electronic medical record. So all the form, all the consent, this is the proper way of doing online intake forms. You have an EMR and you have a link to the portal. You activate a patient to receive a portal access, and the patient will go and activate that access and be able to help you with filling that information. And all of that information, it will get into your EMR. There's many EMRs that offer that. But what happens if you have an EMR that offer that? Do you want to go and switch EMRs now? No. The way I'm thinking it is, because there's a lot of regulations is been relaxed, I'm making the assumption that you can create own forms, and my recommendation, you can create forms maybe on Google Forms. So Google has a platform called Google Forms. So if you go to your Google account, you click on those dots up here on the right hand side, you go to your docs. Then in docs on the left hand side, there's a main menu and there's forms. Forms is you can either take a pre-existing one, for example, contact information, then you can modify it from there, or you can build your own form from scratch. Once you design a form, then you can publish that form. When you send that link to somebody, each person you send that link to will have a unique record of information for that particular person. Now, to learn more about forms, there's nice tutorials. If you go to YouTube, if you search Google Forms, you will see nice tutorials how to use Google Forms. Now, again, you should tell your patient, because I don't think Google Forms is considered a HIPAA approved application. But again, during emergency time, from what I understand, there's a lot of the HIPAA regulations has been relaxed. You got to be careful after the emergency time. You have to plan for a more secure HIPAA solution to do what you're trying to do. After the emergency time, that might not be a good solution. You might have to really think about if you're going to one patient, and it's a common thing. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I've been offering electronic medical record over 20 years now, and it's always a visionary thing that doctors wants their patient to fill the forms before they come to the office. It's nothing that's only now that we need it. This was always around, and people had it for many years. Now we appreciate something like that, and now we all want it because it makes more sense now. And again, we're going to have something called new normal. New normal is people are going to find out wow, we can do more things being remote, things that we never thought we will, or things that we thought that it's true to do by able to just meet somebody through camera or through remote. This is going to be the new norm. I don't think, all of a sudden we're going to go back and you're going to see the word is the same as we lifted in February or March. The world is going to change, and it's going to take a long time, and we're all going to find new ways and adapting to new technology that we're forced to use it now. So this is going to be the new normal, believe it or not, and we have to just adapt to it. Now, let me just show you the part in Medisoft that I'm going to show actually Medisoft, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing here. So I explained to you that in what I have here, I have a Robert Gabriel as a physician. Then I have two resources. So every software might work different. The Lytech and Medisoft, they work similar. Greenway might work a little bit different. And depending if you have any other solution like Practice EHR or any others, there's always different ways, but I can't show you everything because we have a seminar to the general public. It's not a software centric, but since majority of my clients is on Medisoft, I'm showing Medisoft today. So I have a provider called Robert Gabriel, and I have a Vosita Telemedicine column, and I have a Vosita Telemedicine virtual walk-in. So what's the difference? So Robert is the provider here. His time is his time. You cannot be in two places at the same time. So by creating a resource, I'm able to know when I'm booking a resource. So let's say I'm going to just show you here. I'm booking, let's say Jeff. Jeff is going to see Dr. Gabriel. Jeff is coming because of a follow-up. When I hit OK here, so what it did is it booked the resource and it booked the doctor. Because why am I doing that? Because I don't want the doctor to be double booked. So when I book the resource, so why am I doing this? Because I'm creating a resource, and that resource is telling me that this is a scheduled appointment on Vosita. And when I go to my Vosita, and when I go to my dashboard, that appointment is there. Okay, so I know that I'm going to start this appointment when time comes by hitting start, when the proper time comes, and I'm going to do it. Now, I'm also created another one, says it's a virtual walk-in. Virtual walk-in is the other feature that I showed you, that it's not a scheduled appointment. I know that Amy or Ben Affleck is going to need to be invited. Well, Ben Affleck doesn't have a cell phone number. So let's do Amy. I'm going to take that cell phone number, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it into my virtual walk-in, just like I showed you a minute ago. So I'm going to here, I'm clicking on virtual walk-in. I'm going to close my communication here. Then I'm going to invite, and I'm going to paste that number here. Then I can establish a visit with Ben Affleck or Amy, whoever I picked. So that's why I'm dividing this into resources. I know those are people I need to invite. I know those are people who were smart enough to create their own appointment. They didn't need an invitation.
Can you hear me? This is Wendell Murphy.
Yes.
Okay. You said good speed. There's some parameters. This is my first time I was invited through Michael Wise. Thank you for inviting me. It's a very interesting product. You say, what kind of speed are you referring to that's going to be decent enough? What's the because the current speed in my office, I'm just working on getting that up to speed right now from Comcast Business Class. I was not happy with how I was interacting with the cloud for my electronic medical record. So do you have a number that's a threshold?
I would think a 5 meg, it will be a decent speed. When you go to Vosita.com, you can download the apps for the patient from here. Those apps are also in about next week or the week after. The doctor is going to even able to see the patient from their iPhone. Right now, the doctor needs to use a laptop, desktop, but I'm getting requests that I want to use the app. So I'm going to have the doctor also use the app to connect to a patient. But over down here, if you click on training, I have all the training here, and I'm keep adding to this training. So that you will see all the training here. So you can send your patient here. And so there's certain things for the patient to watch, and they're not a lot. Each one is about 3 minutes. There are only 7 videos. I'm going to add another one today. They're not a lot. They will take you half hour to learn everything about Vosita. And as I'm adding new features, I'm going to create new videos.
Robert?
Yes.
Oh, hi, this is Asha George. It was really nice of you to add the virtual checking because we had some patients who had difficulty logging in and username, password, whatever. So is there a way, because right now a follow-up appointment, I'm going back to office hours and I am scheduling it. And then I am telling them, okay, please go to Vosita.com and schedule your appointment for June 5th at 10 o'clock at the same time so that there's no double booking. But is there a way that, because for those people who are having problems logging in?
Yes, that will be in version 1.2. That's going to be out probably by next Friday. I'm going to show it to you next Friday. Yeah, so I'm going to have you, as a provider, you will be able to schedule the patient. And so you will have, patient can schedule their own, You can schedule the patient on Vosetta, or you can invite the patient on Vosetta. So between all three different methods, I think that will cover almost
Yes,
everybody.
that would be really wonderful, because right now I'm just saying, go back to Vosita and, schedule your follow-up, or if you cannot, don't worry, I will call you, so it's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm doing a virtual walk-in. I'm closing the thing, and I'm going to hit invite. Can you give me the phone number, please? So I'm hitting invite. Now you should be getting a text, and you need to click on that text.
I did get the text, and I'm clicking on the link.
So now you should be getting something say allowed. You have to click allowed.
Now the incoming call, I accept.
All right. All right. Now you're on the air. Yeah, I can see you. So, oh, so you don't see me.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me work on that. So okay, so you're saying that you clicked on the X, but you still, you can see me, but I cannot see you. It's not active. That X is grayed out at this point. Okay. Something in the background. See, because it did work for me. And you know what? Even after that, you see, sometimes it takes time for that. Okay, here I grayed it out. Sorry. Okay. So what I have now, this is what I want you to see. Mm-hmm. I have you as a doctor, but look at how big the window of the patient himself is. It's like half the screen. I'm not seeing your screen. I'm seeing your camera. Right. So this is what I want you to see. I'm showing it to you. What I have on my phone now is I have you covered by myself. Right? Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. You know what? When we finish, give me a call and we'll troubleshoot what's going on. Either we're gonna learn I'm gonna hang up so you're not hearing me twice. Okay. So when we're done, I'm gonna call me, or I'll have somebody work with you. We want to find out, is there a certain equipment that need to be configured differently? But I tried it with so many phones and it works. So we'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah.
It takes time until I can X out that technical screen. And after I X out that technical screen, I still can see the doctor cut off because it's covered by my patient, the patient figure. It covers the whole, it covers the doctor.
Okay, I'm gonna need to connect your computer and shadow that what you're seeing. So this way I can send it to development, and if there's something that we need to fix on our end, we'll fix it.
Yes, Robert, I have a question. This is Basil.
Hey, Basil, how are you?
Thanks for the presentation. Awesome. The question I have is two-pronged. One, it's does Vosita have a different storage from the server for those of us that are for people that have the cloud? Or
yes,
is documents from Vosita stored on the same server as the clinical server that we have? That is one.
We don't store anything on Vosita other than the appointment and your profile and the patient information. The basic demographic information of the patient. You don't document on Vosita. You don't bill on Vosita. Think of Vosita as a platform to let you connect with your patient and to let your patient book an appointment with you virtually, or hopefully in the near future with a regular doctor's visit, and to help you finding new patients.
This is Dr. Admani. First of all, will that connection guarantee us HIPAA protection or HIPAA compliance in the future after the public health emergency period ends?
Yes.
Great. I know that you started to address it. I would love you to show us the connectivity between platform, meaning from my desktop, I would like to call a cell phone, and from my cell phone, I would like to call a cell phone, or if the patient is set up with a computer, that would be even nice. So across platforms, of course, iPhone and Android.
Okay, so for now, the provider need to be on a laptop or a desktop that has a camera. In the near future, in about a week or maybe 2 weeks max, the provider will be able to use an iPhone or iPad to connect to the patient. Right now, the provider need to be on the computer,
So
laptop, or
of course, the next step, if I call from my iPhone, I would like the number to show of my office, not of my.
Yeah, there's no number to show. There's no, when you're using Vosetta, you're not showing your numbers. That's the whole reason behind it. So you're not showing your numbers. You will be using the Vosetta as a communication. They don't get to see your number.
And the last question regarding the Vosita itself, not the virtual check-in. That's regarding the Vosita. You mentioned about connecting it to the office hours feature, to the Medisoft patient scheduling directly.
Yes. I was working on that part before the Corona quarantine started to happen. Then I kind of put that part on hold for now, and I'm working on functionality to help providers to get up and running now and to make it as simple as possible to connect to their patient. So every week I'm coming up with new features to make it easier for the providers, so that once I master that, with hopefully the next release, I will address all the things that most of you are asked for already. And then I'm going to work on the interface. When you can actually create an appointment in Medisoft, and it will book it in Rosetta for you, or Lytec or any of the other software, and vice versa. When somebody book you in Rosetta, it will get into your Medisoft. So that I'm working on. Yeah, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Thank you for your hard work. We see that you're working hard. I understand you're giving now a priority to the virtual check-in. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other comments or questions?
Yes. Robert, the virtual check-in, I mean, that was great, but then the past appointments, I don't see my past appointments. It doesn't seem to have any duration or details of the past appointments that I've done.
So so because of the new feature we added, what I want you to check one thing. So when you go to the dashboard, there might not be in past appointment yet. They might be sitting down here. So change this.
Yes, I did move it. I did move my old appointments.
So when you go to move it, if it happened through telemedicine, it will tell you call duration here.
Some of them have it, and most of them did not have it. But of course, I don't know if it's before it's before that start.
Okay, then maybe, yeah. I mean, I didn't have this was added about 3 weeks ago.
I'm talking about the visits that were done before the stop, that new thing that you added. Those visits, when I move it to the past appointments, they don't have the duration at all there.
Okay, so give me feedback on anything that maybe you do this week and tell me if it goes there or not.
Okay. Thank you.
It might have been an old appointment. Okay. All right, thank you.
We have another question, Robert.
Yes.
It's on the message. It says, for the list of appointments on the visit site, do you have plans to make that visible by the day and not at all future appointments?
Yes. We're talking about, is the question regarding this list here?
Yes.
Yeah, this is going to get reorganized. So right now we're sorting by the day, which is stupid because you see all the Fridays. We're removing that Friday, so we're going to sort by date, not days.
Yes, that answers everything I have. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Let me just give you some hints. I mean, they're all common sense, but let me just share with you about Playbook for conducting telemedicine, because under emergency time, everything is acceptable. It's acceptable now to answer the phone where there's a crying baby in the background. There's other stuff. But again, if this something going to stay in the long term, it might be different. So those are some of the tips on what you should need to consider. Make sure your disk is organized. Make sure there's nothing behind you is not, like pictures or trophies for your kids or anything like that. Look professional, smile. I need to do more of that myself. If you normally wear a white coat, when you see a patient, maybe you should do the same, or wear a stethoscope. If you're using an iPad or tablet, make sure it's 2 feet away from you. You don't want the patient to just see your your head or seeing you from a top angle or lower angle. So just consider some of those points, because again, under emergency time, everything is acceptable. But when we need to think about this as business and running business, and that might be a portion of your business. Maybe now it's only during emergency time, but in the future, it might become 25% of your business or so. So we want to be presentable and make sure that everything we showing, it's something that you want to put your name on. Let's talk about coding updates. So I'm going to turn it now to Amir and Nesma.
All right. Hi, everybody. This is Amir Gadollam, the General Manager for RCM at Microise. Just like we do every week, try to give you the most recent updates for the telehealth. If there are any changes with the codes and how you bill for your telehealth visits. Nesma is going to be helping me with that today. Nesma, please start.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nesma. I'm the RCM team leader at Microise. Today, we will be talking about the telehealth services and non-telehealth services. So actually, since like the previous week, nothing much has changed when it comes to the codes used, the regulations, and what to be used, what modifiers, the place of service, and everything. So I would just be like doing a recap of what has been mentioned in the previous like meetings about this. So the very first type that we have for telemedicine is the telehealth services. The telehealth services is actually replaces the in-person visit. So it's the same codes as if the patient is actually coming to the office for like a regular office visit, or if it's an inpatient visit, a consultation, an observation, something like that. So takes or it replaces the regular E&M visits, in-person E&M visits. Codes that would be used are the regular codes from 99201 till 99215. It could be actually used for new or established patients. And the place of service for using those codes, it's going to be the regular place of service, which is actually 11 for an office, or if it's an inpatient, so it's going to be like 21, outpatient 22, if it's like a nursing facility visit for new or established patients. So we're going to use the place of service for a nursing facility. So the place of service is actually going to be the regular place of service when you would normally see the patient at. Just to identify or just to show the difference between like a regular visit that's in person in the office and a telehealth. So there will be a use of modifier 95 just to indicate that it was done through telehealth. And it needs to be done through audio and video together. And also it does not need actually to be patient initiated as well. One more thing is that the coding for those code, it actually depends on the time or the complexity of the visit itself. So just to summarize it, so it actually uses the regular codes from 99202 to 99215. That's for the office visits, and it goes as well for the inpatient observation for ER and for the nursing facilities. We use the regular place of service along with modifier 95. It needs to be audio and video, and the provider just need to document in the medical records that it was done through audio and video. We use the regular place of service along with modifier 95. If the visit is actually for a COVID-19 patient, or if the result of the visit was actually to do a test, or if the patient is tested positive for COVID-19, so we use an additional modifier, which is modifier CR, just to indicate that was a COVID-19 patient. So there will be like no copay, no co-insurance, no deductibles. The insurance would pay the full rate for this visit. That's actually all of the information that we have so far for telehealth. Of course, if we actually have any more updates, we will be sharing those during our meetings like next Friday.
I was
right. So like I was saying, those applies that limitation or restrictions that physicians are not allowed to initiate the service. It only applies to virtual check-ins, to telephone only calls, and to the e-visits, which is the portal. There's no restrictions on regular visits that the doctor, just the regular, the telehealth, the true telehealth visits is the same as an office visit. So whatever you can do for an office, if you're allowed to invite your patient to call to, you can call your patient and say, I think you need to be seen. It's been a month since you've been here. You got to come in, or you're having a bad lab, so I need you to come in. Just like you can do that to your office, you can do that. You can do it for your telehealth. It's only the other ones, the very short ones, the brief communications. That's where they were making those restrictions so people won't just have cold calls. And the other thing I just wanted to point out was that there are some private payers, commercial payers rather, that are now allowing telephone only to use a regular E&M code. And those are, I was given that Blue Cross Blue Shield. I don't know if all the states, but at least some of the Blue Cross Blue Shields. And I believe, let me see, I have Humana. Those two apparently are allowing, at least maybe some of the states, I don't know if every single state, allowing to use now the E&M codes with telephone only. And that you have to check with the payers, but yeah, it does not apply to Medicare, but those two are apparently allowing that now.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, Abraham, but I think it's only allowed to use the E&M code if you are able to provide the same exact level of service or treatment.
That's correct. That's right. You're right. You're right. Thank you. Yes.
As if you've actually conducted that via audio and video.
Right. I mean, there might be some less because you can't see let's say how a person looks, but you can at least have to get a document that you're doing a reasonable, it's a low level of a 99201 or something, the lowest level you could probably do. Yeah, but you couldn't do the whole thing. Right.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, Nisma. Thank you, Amir. Okay, so what Ibrahim and Amir was trying to say is, if I understand them correctly, you can do business the normal way you did. If you were able to call the patient and say, you have an abnormal blood test, I need to see you, or I need to see you to go over the blood test, then you're allowed to invite them to telemedicine. So you're not really soliciting the patient. There was a need to do that. What I think they're trying to avoid, or the way I understand it, they try to avoid, they don't want doctors to just go and solicit patient visits and unnecessarily inflate their income because they're struggling financially.
We have a question here from Mona. She's asking about how to change the place of service. It really depends on what kind of software that you're using.
I'm gonna show that in Medisoft.
If you're using Medisoft, yeah, Robert's gonna help us right now.
Okay, so let me see where's. I don't know why. Where's my Medisoft? Okay. All right, let me close this. All right, looked like my system went to sleep.
In the meantime, Amir, have other practices been paid actually? Did anyone see payments for the new codes for this public health emergency period?
Yes, I have seen some of the providers that they're utilizing MicroWise's RCM, that they started generating revenue out of telemedicine for the visits that they have conducted.
Is this Medicare or commercials also?
Both.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
All right, so normally when you're billing, you might have the place of service heading that's called POS. So if you have it shown on the screen, so let's say I'm using 99213, that's the place of service. Now you can override it and make it 11, or you can override it and make it 02, depending. Right now we're allowed for Medicare to bill 11, and with the modifier 95
for all payers.
And for all payers, okay.
Yes.
All payers can be 11, modifier 95, and hopefully you get paid the full amount. Later on, after the emergency period, from what we understand, that should be 02 for televisits. Now, if you don't see this POS, you can click on this bubble here, the black dot, then you can add, and you should see place of service or POS somewhere here. If you don't have it, if you have it, then it will be listed here. You can override it. Okay, and that should be similar with most program.
Yeah, Robert, I'm Claudette. I'm an old Medisoft user. Tell me, how important is that modifier 9 to 5? My office is an ophthalmology practice. And my information said that we can omit the modifier 9 to 5. Can somebody confirm or deny? Robert, with the ophthalmology, we use E&M 920, let's say 92004 as an E&M with, place of service 11. Okay. But my understanding is that with the virtual telehealth, we can use the 99, 99, and the same place of service, but omit the modifier 9.
As an ophthalmologist, I am identifying. I think, Claudette, you have a wonderful question, but this is limited to our ophthalmology practices because we actually do not use on a regular basis the E&M codes.
So you have a special
code. Codes. These are the 92002 to 92014.
That's right.
These are different set of codes, and as I understand it, we as ophthalmologists will have to switch to the E&M because I do not think our I codes are certified yet. I did not see it in the American Academy of Ophthalmology setup yet, so it didn't come up yet. For now, I'm switching to the E&M codes with the modifier 95.
I agree. I think that's the way you should.
So you are switching to 99299. You're going to 99 with the modifier 95.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I only sent one claim to Medicare pending, the 15 days.
Tell me if you succeeded. I would love to use the iCodes back, but for now I do not.
Now, Claudette, maybe the code that you're doing, maybe you're supposed to use it under normal circumstances when we're out of the emergency time. And I'm sure if it's a special code, I'm sure it's going to be paid at less amount of money. Now we want to make sure that you don't hemorrhage in financially by not getting paid, because how can you see patients where you're not able, you are in the social distancing. So from what we understanding is you can use your E&M code with modifier 95, place of service 11, and that will keep you at the same reimbursement as you getting now in a normal office visit.
Yes, one other quick question.
Sure.
For place of service, Medicare, is there something that says you can do place of service 02?
Yes, that's the way telemedicine should be, 02.
But
now, because
only.
under the emergency time, you're allowed to use 11 with modifier 95 to be able to get the full reimbursement. If you use 02, you're gonna get less money. So just a quick infomercial. If you're not able to have your staff work remotely, or maybe some of your staff is on a leave of absence for whatever reason, I want to let you know about, of course, we have the RCM service, but we also have somebody that can help you with your office with telemedicine, talking to patient or connecting patient or booking patient, and or any other function that you might need. This service is $475 for full-time employee, and I just want to make sure that you guys go back to work as soon as possible. I know most of you are already doing it, but I don't want to see any of you have any financial damage, please. Brings us to the end of the seminar. Let me just put my contact information. So this is my contact information. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. If you wanted to bring to our attention maybe some glitches with the Vosita or anything else, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for joining, and see you next week, and look for the invitation, and stay safe and have a wonderful weekend.
Please don't keep us a secret. Tell everyone about Vosita Telemedicine. Social distancing friendly and virtually free. Vosita Telemedicine. Give Vosita a try.